Marina Volkov had worked as Elon Musk's personal chef for 2.5 years without ever asking for anything. But when her 9-year-old son's diabetes medication became unaffordable and an eviction notice appeared on her door, she had no choice. With trembling hands and a racing heart, she did what terrified her most. She asked the billionaire for a raise. Elon's response wasn't what she expected. It wasn't a yes. It wasn't a no. It was 4 simple words that would change everything. "I'll think about it." What happened next would transform Marina from a desperate single mother barely surviving into someone capable of building something extraordinary. But first, she'd have to endure 3 days of terrifying silence, wondering if she'd just made the biggest mistake of her life. This is the story of what happens when you ask for help and get something far more powerful than you ever imagined. Marina Volkov's hands wouldn't stop shaking. She stood in the massive kitchen of Elon Musk's Bel Air residence, staring at the avocado she was supposed to be slicing. The knife felt heavy in her trembling fingers. Outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, Los Angeles was waking up, the sky shifting from deep purple to soft pink. It was 6:47 a.m. on Thursday, March 14, 2019. She'd been awake since 4 o'clock, rehearsing, practicing the words in her tiny bathroom mirror while Dmitry slept in the next room. "Mr. Musk, I need to ask for a raise. Elon, I've worked for you for 2.5 years without complaint. I'm sorry to bother you, but my son is sick and I'm drowning." Every version sounded wrong, desperate, pathetic. But the eviction notice taped to her apartment door wasn't going away. The number on her phone screen, $84,723, wasn't magically increasing. And Dmitry's insulin prescription, due for refill in 6 days, cost $892 without insurance. Marina forced her hands steady and finished preparing breakfast. Avocado toast on sourdough, exactly how Elon liked it. Black coffee in his favorite mug, the one with the SpaceX logo that was slightly chipped on the handle. A protein smoothie with exact measurements. Spinach, banana, almond butter, vanilla protein powder, unsweetened almond milk. She'd learned his preferences down to the gram over the past 2.5 years. She knew he hated cilantro, that he preferred his eggs slightly runny, that on days when Tesla production numbers were down, he wanted comfort food, usually something his mother used to make. She knew when to be invisible and when to ask if he needed anything, but she'd never asked for anything herself. Marina heard his footsteps, the quick, purposeful stride of someone whose mind was already 3 meetings ahead. He walked into the kitchen at exactly 7:15 a.m. wearing his uniform, black t-shirt, jeans, phone in hand. His fingers moved across the screen with the speed of someone conducting an orchestra, probably responding to emails from Tesla's Shanghai factory, or SpaceX engineers in Texas, or Neuralink researchers working on brain-computer interfaces. "Morning, Marina." He didn't look up. "Smells good." This was it, her moment. The words she'd practiced 100 times were right there, ready, but her throat closed up. She watched him reach for the coffee mug, still typing with his other hand. She thought about Dmitry waking up in their apartment right now, checking his blood sugar with the glucose monitor that beeped every 2 hours. She thought about the landlord's voice on her voicemail. "Marina, I need the rent by the end of the month or I'm filing for eviction. I'm sorry, but I can't wait anymore." She thought about last week, when Dmitry's school called because his insulin pump malfunctioned and he was in the nurse's office, scared and crying, and Marina couldn't afford the $3,200 replacement. "Mr. Musk." Her voice came out smaller than she intended. He looked up from his phone, and suddenly his full attention was on her. Those gray-blue eyes that had stared down aerospace executives and Wall Street analysts and government officials now focused completely on her face. "Elon," she corrected herself. He'd told her dozens of times to call him Elon, but it always felt strange. "I need to ask you something." He set his phone down on the counter, waited. "I've worked for you for 2.5 years. The words tumbled out now, unstoppable. "I've never missed a day. I come at 5 in the morning when you have early calls. I stay until midnight when you're working late. I've learned everything you like, everything you need. I've never complained." His expression didn't change, he just listened. "My son Dmitry, he's 9 years old, he has type 1 diabetes." Her voice cracked. "The insulin costs keep going up. My insurance doesn't cover everything. The pump, the sensors, the supplies, it's thousands of dollars every month. My rent went up again. My car is breaking down. I'm working as hard as I can, but I'm drowning. Tears burned behind her eyes, but she forced them back. I need to ask for a raise, please. I know you're busy changing the world, and this is small compared to rockets and electric cars and everything else you're doing, but I'll think about it. 4 words, delivered in that measured, analytical tone he used in interviews. Marina stood frozen. That was it. No yes, no no, just, I'll think about it. Elon picked up his coffee mug and the plate with avocado toast. He grabbed his phone, and then he walked out of the kitchen without another word. Marina stood alone in that massive, gleaming kitchen, surrounded by state-of-the-art appliances she'd never be able to afford. The morning light streamed through the windows, making everything look golden and expensive and impossibly far from her reality. She pressed her palms against the cool marble countertop and let the tears come. What had she just done? Had she just lost her job? Would he fire her for being ungrateful, for asking for more when she should be thankful to work for someone like him? She pulled out her phone with shaking hands and opened her text messages to Yuki. I did it. I asked him. He said he'll think about it. 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, what does that mean? Marina stared at her phone. She had no idea what it meant. All she knew was that she just asked one of the richest, busiest men in the world for help. And now all she could do was wait. 72 hours. That's how long Elon Musk said absolutely nothing about Marina's request. Thursday passed. Friday crawled by. Saturday felt like it lasted a year. Marina showed up every morning at 5:00 a.m. She prepared breakfast with the same precision she always had. Elon ate his meals without comment. He didn't avoid her. That would have required acknowledging her presence. Instead, he simply existed in his usual bubble of focused intensity, his mind clearly occupied by problems far bigger than one chef's financial troubles. On Thursday afternoon, Marina overheard him on a call about Starship's Raptor engines. Something about combustion chamber pressure and specific impulse. His voice carried that edge of controlled frustration he got when engineering problems weren't resolving fast enough. On Friday morning, he was on a video call in the dining room while eating breakfast. Tesla's Fremont factory, production bottlenecks. Someone wasn't hitting targets. I don't want excuses, Elon said calmly into the camera. I want solutions by Monday. Marina served his lunch, grilled chicken, roasted vegetables, quinoa, and he nodded thanks without making eye contact. Saturday, he didn't come to the residence until evening. Marina had kept dinner warm, salmon with asparagus and sweet potato. He ate it standing at the kitchen counter, scrolling through his phone, then disappeared into his home office. Each day, Marina felt the walls closing in tighter. She couldn't sleep. At night, she lay in her small bedroom in Hawthorne, staring at the water stain on the ceiling that looked like a cloud, or a skull, depending on her mood. In the next room, Dimitri's continuous glucose monitor beeped softly every 2 hours. She'd set her phone alarm to match his monitoring schedule, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m. Even though he had the monitor, even though technology was supposed to make this easier, she couldn't stop checking on him. Thursday night at 2:17 a.m., she crept into his room and stood watching him sleep, his small chest rising and falling, the monitor on his arm glowing faintly in the darkness. He looked so peaceful, so innocent. He had no idea his mother had gambled everything by asking for a raise. Marina pulled out her phone and opened her banking app for the 100th time. Checking account, $84,723. She'd already done the math. She'd done it so many times the numbers were burned into her brain. Rent due March 31st, $2,400. Dimitri's insulin refill 6 days, $892 electricity bill, $127 car insurance, $156 groceries, $300 if she was careful gas, $80. Total needed, $3,955. She was short by $310,777. Her next paycheck from Elon was $2,100 after taxes. It came every 2 weeks. The next one would arrive March 28th, 3 days before rent was due. Even with that paycheck, she'd still be short by over $1,000. And if Elon fired her because she'd asked for a raise, then she'd have nothing at all. Friday morning, Marina's best friend Yuki Chen called during her break at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where she worked as a pediatric nurse. Have you heard anything? Yuki asked. Nothing. Marina was in her car in the parking lot of a CVS, trying to see if her prescription discount card could bring down Dimitri's insulin cost. It couldn't. Maybe that's good. Maybe he's actually considering it. Or maybe he's interviewing my replacement right now, Marina said. Her voice sounded hollow even to herself. Maybe I should have just kept my mouth shut, worked extra hours somewhere. I could have driven for Uber at night. Marina, stop. You work 14-hour days already. When would you sleep? When would you see Dimitri? At least we'd have a place to live. Silence on the other end. Then, it's going to be okay. Elon Musk isn't a monster. He's not going to fire you for asking for a raise. But Marina wasn't so sure. She'd seen him fire people, not personally, but she'd overheard conversations. Executives who didn't meet targets, engineers who couldn't solve problems fast enough. Elon was brilliant, visionary, capable of incredible kindness, but he was also ruthlessly focused on results. Why would he care about one chef's problems when he was trying to make humanity a multiplanetary species? Friday evening, Marina's landlord called. Marina, I need to know what's happening with rent. I'm working on it, Mr. Patterson. I have a paycheck coming on the 28th. That's still going to leave you short. Look, I like you. You're a good tenant, but I have a mortgage to pay. I have other people interested in the apartment who can pay on time. I need the full amount by March 31st or I'm filing for eviction April 1st. I'm sorry. The call ended. Marina sat in her car outside Dimitri's school, waiting to pick him up and felt something break inside her chest. Saturday morning, she woke up at 3:47 a.m. from a nightmare. In the dream, she'd been standing in Elon's kitchen and he'd walked in with a new chef. Thanks for your service, Dream Elon had said, but we're moving in a different direction. She couldn't fall back asleep. At 6:00 a.m., she got a text from an unknown number. Her heart stopped. Ms. Volkov, this is Amanda Torres calling from Mr. Musk's office. He'd like to see you Monday morning at 9 a.m., not at the residence, at the SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne. Building 1, 3rd floor, conference room Falcon. Marina read the message 5 times. SpaceX headquarters, conference room Falcon, not the residence. This was it. This was how he fired people who worked in his personal life. Professional, clean, away from his home. She texted back with shaking hands. I'll be there, thank you. Then she texted Yuki. He wants to see me Monday at SpaceX. I think I'm getting fired. Yuki's response came immediately. You don't know that. Stay positive. But Marina couldn't stay positive. She spent the rest of Saturday in a fog of anxiety. She took Dimitri to the park. He wanted to play basketball, but she couldn't focus. She kept checking her phone, kept replaying the conversation from Thursday morning. Sunday was worse. She went through the motions, made Dimitri breakfast, helped him check his blood sugar, did laundry, cleaned their small apartment. But her mind was elsewhere. She kept thinking about what she'd say at the meeting. Should she apologize for asking? Should she beg to keep her job? Should she explain about Dimitri's medical needs, about the eviction notice, about how she had nowhere else to go? Sunday night she couldn't eat. Dimitri noticed. Mom, are you okay? I'm fine, baby. She forced a smile, just tired. Is it because of me? Because of the diabetes stuff? Her heart shattered. No, Dimitri, never. This has nothing to do with you. But it had everything to do with him. If she lost this job, how would she pay for his insulin, his monitoring supplies, his doctor visits? At 11:00 p.m., she laid out her clothes for Monday. Black slacks, a simple gray blouse, flats, professional but not trying too hard. She ironed everything carefully. At midnight, she finally fell into fitful sleep. Her alarm went off at 6:00 a.m. Monday morning. March 18th, 2019. The day that would change everything. Marina showered, got dressed, made sure Dimitri was ready for school. Yuki had agreed to pick him up in the afternoon just in case the meeting ran long, or in case Marina needed time to fall apart afterward. She dropped Dimitri at school at 7:45 a.m. Love you, Mom, he said, climbing out of the car with his backpack. Love you too, baby. She watched him walk into the building, his insulin pump visible in the pocket of his jeans. Her whole world in one 9-year-old boy. Then she drove to SpaceX headquarters. The building loomed against the morning sky, massive, industrial, filled with people building rockets that would go to Mars. Marina had driven past it hundreds of times but never been inside. She arrived at 8:45 a.m., 15 minutes early. She sat in her car, hands gripping the steering wheel, trying to breathe. At 8:55 a.m., she walked inside. The security guard checked her ID, asked her to sign in, gave her a visitor badge. She walked through hallways lined with photographs of rocket launches, past engineers carrying equipment she couldn't identify, past conference rooms with whiteboards covered in equations that looked like hieroglyphics. She found Building 1, took the elevator to the third floor, found Conference Room Falcon. 9:00 a.m. exactly. Marina stood outside the door, her hand on the handle. This was it. She opened the door, and what she saw inside made absolutely no sense at all. Elon Musk sat at the head of a long conference table, but he wasn't alone. 3 other people sat around the table, all looking at Marina expectantly as she stood frozen in the doorway. To Elon's right was a woman in her mid-50s wearing a sharp charcoal business suit. Her dark hair was pulled back in a neat bun, and she had the kind of posture that suggested military background or decades of corporate discipline. She smiled warmly at Marina. Next to her sat a man in his 40s with kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. He wore a button-down shirt and tie, and had the calm, reassuring presence of someone used to delivering difficult news gently. The third person was a younger woman, maybe early 30s, with auburn hair and an enthusiastic energy that radiated even while sitting still. She held a tablet and was already pulling up something on the screen. Marina's brain couldn't process what she was seeing. This wasn't a firing. Firings didn't involve 3 other people, unless they were witnesses, HR representatives, lawyers. "Sit down, Marina," Elon said. His voice was calm, measured, the same tone he used in Tesla earnings calls. Marina's legs somehow carried her to the empty chair across from the 3 strangers. She sat down slowly, her purse clutched in her lap like a shield. "These are some people I'd like you to meet," Elon continued, gesturing to each person in turn. "Jennifer Kim, she's a financial advisor and wealth manager. She works with high net worth individuals and also does pro bono financial literacy work." Jennifer extended her hand across the table. "It's nice to meet you, Marina." Marina shook it numbly. Her palm was sweating. "This is Dr. Robert Hassan," Elon continued. "He's a pediatric endocrinologist, one of the best in the country. He specializes in type 1 diabetes management in children." Dr. Hassan smiled gently. "Hello, Marina. I've heard about Dmitry, 9 years old, diagnosed about 3 years ago." Marina could only nod. How did he know that? How did any of them know anything about Dmitry? "And this is Sarah Mitchell," Elon said, indicating the younger woman. "She's a business development consultant. She helps people build and scale companies from the ground up." "Hi, Marina." Sarah's enthusiasm was almost jarring in the tense atmosphere. "I'm really excited to work with you." "Work with her? Work on what?" Marina looked at Elon, confusion flooding her system. "I don't understand. What's happening?" Elon leaned back in his chair, studying her for a moment. Then he spoke. "You asked for a raise on Thursday morning," he said simply. "I told you I'd think about it." Marina's throat went dry. "Yes, I did think about it. For 3 days I thought about it very carefully." He paused. "And I've decided my answer is no." The world tilted sideways. Marina heard the word no but couldn't quite process it. The room felt suddenly airless. Her vision tunneled. This was it. She was fired. She'd lost everything by asking for too much. "I'm not giving you a raise," Elon continued, and his voice seemed to be coming from very far away, "because a raise won't solve your problem." Marina tried to breathe, tried to understand. "A raise is a temporary fix," Elon explained, leaning forward now. "Let's say I give you an extra $1,000 a month. That helps for a while. You can pay rent more easily. You can cover Dmitry's insulin. But what happens when insulin prices go up again? What happens when your rent increases next year? What happens when your car finally dies and you need a new one?" He gestured to the 3 people at the table. "You'll be back in the same situation in 6 months, maybe a year. You'll be stuck in the same cycle, working harder and harder just to stay in the same place. That's not a solution, that's a treadmill." Marina still couldn't speak. Her heart was pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. "So instead of giving you a raise," Elon said, his gray-blue eyes locked on hers, "I'm going to help you build something." The words hung in the air. "What?" Marina whispered. It was the only word she could manage. "For the past 3 days, I've been thinking about your situation," Elon said. "You're talented, Marina. Your food is excellent, better than some professional restaurant chefs I've hired. You're reliable. You show up early, stay late, you're detail-oriented. You're creative with ingredients. You remember preferences without being told twice." He stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the SpaceX facility below. "But you're trapped. The system is designed to keep people like you trapped. You work hard, you're good at what you do, but the costs keep rising faster than wages. Healthcare, housing, childcare. It's all designed to extract maximum value from working people while giving minimum support." He turned back to face her. "I can't fix the entire system, but I can help you escape it." Marina's hands gripped the edge of the table. She still didn't understand what was happening. Elon returned to his seat and gestured to Jennifer. "Jennifer is going to help you restructure your finances. She's going to teach you about money management, budgeting, debt reduction, investing, all the things they don't teach in school but absolutely should. Things that keep people poor when they don't know them." Jennifer nodded. "We'll get your immediate financial crisis under control first, then build long-term financial literacy." Elon gestured to Dr. Hassan next. "Dr. Hassan is going to coordinate with Dimitri's current doctors at UCLA. He's one of the top pediatric endocrinologists in California. He'll make sure Dimitri gets the absolute best care available, the latest technology, the best treatment protocols, and I'll cover whatever your insurance doesn't." Dr. Hassan added, "I'd like to get Dimitri on a Dexcom G6 continuous glucose monitor and a Tandem T, Slim X2 insulin pump with Control-IQ technology. It's essentially an automated insulin delivery system. It will make management much easier for both of you." Marina's eyes filled with tears. She'd researched that technology. It cost thousands of dollars. Her insurance had denied it twice. Finally, Elon gestured to Sarah. "Sarah is going to teach you about business, real business, not theory, practical, hands-on knowledge, how to start something, how to scale it, how to make it sustainable, how to build something that can't be taken away from you." Sarah smiled. "We're going to design a curriculum specifically for you. Online courses, certifications, hands-on training, whatever you need." Marina shook her head slowly. "None of this made sense. But I need to know something first," Elon said, his voice softer now. He sat down across from Marina and leaned forward, his full attention on her. "And I need you to answer honestly." Marina nodded, though she wasn't sure she could speak. "If money wasn't a problem," Elon said slowly, carefully, "if Dimitri's health was managed, if you had resources and support, what would you actually want to do with your life?" The question landed like a bomb in Marina's chest. No one had ever asked her that before. Not since she was a teenager with dreams that seemed too big for someone like her. Not since she got pregnant at 23 and her whole life changed overnight. Not since Dimitri was diagnosed and every decision became about survival, not dreams. Her voice cracked. "I don't know if I can." "Yes, you can," Elon said quietly. "Tell me, what do you actually want?" Marina looked at Jennifer's kind face, at Dr. Hassan's gentle eyes, at Sarah's encouraging smile, at Elon's intense, unwavering focus, and something broke open inside her, something she'd kept locked away for years because hoping hurt too much. She took a shaking breath. "I want to open a restaurant," she said. The words hung in the air like something fragile and dangerous. Marina hadn't said them out loud in years. Not to Yuki, not to her mother back in Seattle. Not even to herself. Really, not since Dimitri's diagnosis turned her life into a series of medical emergencies and financial calculations. "A restaurant," Elon repeated. He didn't sound surprised. He sounded curious. "Tell me more." Marina's hands were shaking again. She pressed them flat against the table. "Not just any restaurant," she said quietly. Her voice was barely above a whisper, but in the silent conference room, everyone heard every word. When Dimitri was diagnosed 3 years ago, everything changed. Not just the medical stuff, everything. She looked up at Dr. Hassan, then back at Elon. "We couldn't eat out anymore. Or we could, but it was terrifying. Cross-contamination in kitchens, hidden sugars in sauces, carb counts on menus that are completely wrong, servers who don't understand why it matters. chefs who get annoyed when you ask questions. Her voice grew stronger as the words she'd been holding inside for years finally found their way out. I'd take Dmitri to birthday parties at restaurants and spend the entire time anxious, reading labels on my phone, calculating insulin doses, watching him eat while other kids just ate, just enjoyed their food without thinking about it. Sarah leaned forward, listening intently. One time, Marina's voice caught. One time we went to this Italian place, a friend's birthday. I told them 3 times that Dmitri has diabetes, that we needed accurate carb information. They said no problem. I asked about the pasta sauce, was there added sugar? They said no. She closed her eyes, remembering. 2 hours later, Dmitri's blood sugar was over 400. He was vomiting, shaking. I had to give him emergency insulin and take him to urgent care. They put sugar in the sauce and didn't think it mattered enough to mention. Dr. Hassan nodded knowingly. That's far too common. Food service staff often don't understand the medical implications. After that, we just stopped going out, Marina continued. It was easier, safer. I could control everything at home, but Dmitri, she swallowed hard. He started to feel different from other kids, like he couldn't do normal things, like his disease made him a burden. Jennifer's expression was soft with understanding. And it's not just diabetes, Marina said, the words coming faster now. It's celiac disease, severe allergies, other autoimmune conditions. There are millions of families dealing with this. Millions of kids who can't just be kids at restaurants. She looked directly at Elon. I want to create a place where families like mine can eat safely, where parents don't have to be scared, where kids with medical dietary restrictions can just breathe, where they can have birthday parties and feel normal. The dream that had been locked inside her for so long was pouring out now, unstoppable. I want to call it the safe table, she said. A restaurant where every single ingredient is tracked, measured, documented, where cross-contamination protocols are medical grade, where the staff is trained not just in food allergies, but in actual medical dietary needs, where families can trust what they're eating. Her eyes filled with tears, but she kept talking. I want kids to walk in and see menus with complete nutritional information, not estimates, exact numbers. I want parents to be able to relax for once. I want a space where having a medical condition doesn't mean you're excluded from normal life. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. I want beautiful food that happens to be safe, not sad, restricted food, not food that makes you feel like you're missing out. Real food, delicious food, food that doesn't compromise on taste or safety. Marina looked around the table at the 4 people watching her. I want to create what I wish existed when Dmitri was diagnosed, a place where families can make memories without fear, where kids can feel included, where parents can actually enjoy a meal instead of spending the whole time anxious. She took a shaky breath. That's what I want. That's what I've wanted since the day we left that urgent care at 2 in the morning, and Dmitri asked me if he'd ever be able to eat at a restaurant again like a normal kid. The conference room was absolutely silent. Marina suddenly felt exposed, vulnerable. She just poured out her deepest dream to one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world, a man who built electric cars and reusable rockets. What must he think of her small, simple dream of a restaurant for sick kids? I'm sorry, she said quickly. That probably sounds stupid compared to. Stop, Elon said firmly. Don't apologize. He stood up and walked to the whiteboard on the wall. He grabbed a marker. The safe table, he wrote at the top. Then he turned to Marina. That's not a small dream, Marina. That's a massive opportunity disguised as a personal problem. He started writing bullet points. Target market, families with medical dietary restrictions. Problem, underserved, ignored by current restaurant industry. Solution, medical-grade food safety plus excellent dining experience. Competitive advantage, lived experience plus culinary skill. You're not just talking about a restaurant, Elon said, still writing. You're talking about a completely new category, a market that's been ignored because it's complicated and requires expertise that most restaurateurs don't have. He turned to face her. But you have that expertise. You live it every day. You understand the medical side because you're managing a chronic condition. You understand the culinary side because you're a professional chef. You understand the emotional side because you're a mother who's watched her son struggle. Sarah was nodding enthusiastically. This is actually brilliant, the market size alone. We'll get to that, Elon interrupted. He kept his eyes on Marina. But first, I need to know if you're serious, because what I'm about to propose isn't easy. It's going to be hard, really hard, harder than anything you've done. Marina's heart was racing. What do you mean? Elon set down the marker and returned to his seat. I don't want to give you a small raise that keeps you trapped in survival mode, he said. I want to help you build the safe table, for real. Not someday, not maybe, actually build it. Marina couldn't breathe. But you're not ready, Elon continued. Not yet. You have talent and vision, but you don't have the business knowledge, the financial management skills, the operational experience, or the capital. If I just gave you money and said, go build a restaurant, you'd fail, and failure would destroy you. He leaned forward. So here's what I'm proposing. For the next 6 months, you're going on sabbatical from being my personal chef. Your full salary continues. Actually, I'm increasing it by 40% so you have breathing room while you focus on this. Marina's mouth fell open. Jennifer is going to handle your immediate financial crisis. She'll negotiate with your landlord, restructure your debt, get you stable. That starts today. Jennifer nodded. We'll meet this afternoon if you're available. Dr. Hassan is going to take over Dimitri's care coordination. He'll work with UCLA, get Dimitri on the best technology available, make sure his health is managed at the highest level possible. I'll cover all costs not covered by insurance. Dr. Hassan smiled. I'd like to see Dimitri this week if possible. We'll do a full assessment and get him set up properly. And Sarah, Elon continued, is going to design a complete business curriculum for you. You're going to learn everything you need to know to build and run a successful restaurant. Not theory, real, practical, hands-on knowledge. Sarah was already typing on her tablet. I'm thinking Cornell's hospitality management courses, Serve Safe certification, restaurant operations, financial management, marketing fundamentals. Wait, Marina interrupted. Her head was spinning. I don't understand. Why would you do all this? This is too much. I just asked for a raise I didn't ask for. You didn't ask for charity, Elon said quietly. You asked for help because you're trying to take care of your son. That's not weakness. That's everything that matters. He paused and something shifted in his expression, something vulnerable. I had a son named Nevada, he said softly. He died when he was 10 weeks old. SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. The room went completely still. It was the worst thing I've ever experienced, Elon continued. Worse than any business failure, any setback, anything. I know what it's like to feel helpless about your child's health. I know what that fear feels like. His eyes met Marina's. You're not helpless, Marina. You're fighting for your son every single day. You're working yourself into the ground to keep him alive and healthy. That's not something to apologize for. That's courage. Tears streamed down Marina's face now. I have resources, Elon said simply. More resources than any one person needs. And you have something I can't manufacture or engineer. You have the lived experience and the vision to solve a real problem for real families. That's valuable. That's worth investing in. He stood up. So I'm not giving you charity. I'm making an investment. In 6 months, we'll talk about the safe table becoming a real business. But first, you need to become the person who can build it, lead it, and sustain it. Marina couldn't speak, couldn't process what was happening. Do you understand what I'm offering? Elon asked. Marina nodded, then shook her head, then nodded again. I think so, but Good, Elon said. Then there's one more thing you need to see. He walked to the conference room door and opened it. Marina wasn't prepared for what she saw when Elon opened the door. Standing in the hallway outside conference room, Falcon was Dimitri, her son, her 9-year-old boy who was supposed to be at school right now. Next to him stood Yuki, her hand on his shoulder, smiling with tears in her eyes. Mom! Dimitri ran into the room and threw his arms around Marina's waist. Marina looked at Yuki in confusion, then at Elon. What, how? I picked him up early, Yuki explained, walking into the conference room. "Mr. Musk's office called me this morning. They said you might want Dmitry here for this." Marina held her son tight, her mind reeling. Elon had planned all of this, every detail. "Hey buddy," Elon said to Dmitry. "I'm Elon, your mom works for me." Dmitry's eyes went wide. "You're the rocket guy, you're going to Mars." Elon smiled, a real genuine smile. "That's the plan, you like space." "I love space. Mom showed me videos of the Falcon Heavy launch. The two boosters landing at the same time was so cool." "That was a good day," Elon agreed. He knelt down to Dmitry's eye level. "Your mom tells me you're pretty brave. Dealing with diabetes isn't easy." Dmitry shrugged, suddenly shy. "It's okay, I'm used to it now." "Well, Dr. Hassan here," Elon gestured to the doctor, "is going to help make it even easier. He's got some cool new technology for you to try." Dr. Hassan waved. "We'll talk more this week, Dmitry. But basically, you're going to get some upgrades to your diabetes management system, like getting a better computer." Dmitry grinned. Marina looked at Elon, still holding her son. "You brought him here, you planned all of this." "I wanted him to hear what his mom is going to do," Elon said simply. "Kids should see their parents chase big dreams. It teaches them what's possible." He turned back to Dmitry. "Your mom is going to build something really important. A restaurant where kids like you can eat safely, where families don't have to worry. Pretty cool, right?" Dmitry looked up at Marina with such pride in his eyes that she almost broke down completely. "You're really going to do it, Mom? Your own restaurant?" Marina couldn't speak, she just nodded. "That's awesome." Dmitry hugged her tighter. Yuki came over and put her hand on Marina's shoulder. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered. The next 3 hours were a whirlwind. Jennifer Kim sat with Marina in a smaller conference room and went through every aspect of her finances. It was brutal, humiliating. Marina had to show her bank statements, credit card bills, medical bills, every piece of her financial disaster. But Jennifer's voice stayed calm and professional throughout. "Okay," Jennifer said, looking at her laptop screen. "Your rent is currently 65% of your take-home income. That's completely unsustainable. You should be spending no more than 30%. She typed rapidly. "I'm going to call your landlord today. We'll negotiate the current amount down and lock in a 2-year lease at a reasonable rate. If he won't negotiate, we'll find you a better apartment." "I can't afford to move," Marina said quietly. "With Mr. Musk increasing your salary by 40% for the next 6 months, yes you can. But we won't need to. Landlords negotiate when they think they might lose a good tenant. You've never been late before this year, right?" "Never," Marina confirmed. "Then we have leverage," Jennifer made a note. "Next, credit cards. You have $8,400 in credit card debt across 3 cards. Interest rates between 19 and 24%. That's predatory." She pulled up another screen. "I'm going to consolidate this into a single personal loan at 7%. Your monthly payment will drop from $340 to $180, and you'll actually pay it off instead of just treading water on interest." Marina watched in amazement as Jennifer worked through problem after problem that had felt insurmountable. "Dmitry's insulin," Jennifer continued. "You're paying $892 out of pocket because your insurance has a high deductible. I'm going to apply for pharmaceutical assistance programs. Most people don't know these exist, but they do. We should be able to get that cost down to under $100 per month while we work on getting better insurance." "That's possible," Marina whispered. "It's absolutely possible. You just need someone who knows how to navigate the system." Jennifer looked at Marina with kind eyes. "Money isn't mysterious or magical, it's just a system. And systems can be learned, understood, and optimized. That's what I'm going to teach you." While Marina met with Jennifer, Dr. Hassan took Dmitry to another room for a preliminary assessment. Yuki went with them as both friend and medical professional. Dr. Hassan was gentle, patient. He showed Dmitry the Dexcom G6 continuous glucose monitor. "See this," he held up the small device. "It talks to your phone, your mom's phone too. It checks your blood sugar automatically every 5 minutes. No more finger pricks except for calibration." Dmitry's eyes lit up. "Really? Really? And this, Dr. Hassan showed him the tandem insulin pump. This is like having a tiny robot helping manage your insulin. It learns your patterns and adjusts automatically. It makes everything easier. When can I get them? Dmitry asked eagerly. We'll start the process this week. Should have you set up within 10 days. After the assessment, Dr. Hassan spoke with Marina and Yuki privately. Dmitry's A1C is 8.2, he said. That's not terrible, but we can do better. With proper technology and support, we should be able to get him under 7.5 within 3 months, under 7 within 6 months. Marina knew those numbers. Every parent of a type 1 diabetic knew those numbers. They were the difference between long-term complications and a healthier life. I'll coordinate with his pediatrician at UCLA, Dr. Hassan continued, but I'll be his primary endocrinology specialist. Monthly appointments, no charge. If there's ever an emergency, you call me directly. He handed Marina a card with his personal cell number. Marina stared at the card. Pediatric endocrinologists didn't give out personal cell numbers to patients, but Dr. Hassan just smiled. Mr. Musk is very persuasive, he said, and Dmitry is going to be my patient. I take care of my patients. While all this happened, Sarah Mitchell was busy creating Marina's curriculum. She showed Marina her tablet screen, filled with courses, schedules, mentorship opportunities. We're starting with fundamentals, Sarah explained. Cornell University's Food and Beverage Management Certificate. It's online. You can do it at your own pace. Should take about 3 months if you're dedicated. Marina nodded, overwhelmed. Simultaneously, you'll do ServSafe Manager certification. That's food safety, critical for what you want to build. Then we have restaurant operations, basic accounting for small business, marketing fundamentals, and nutrition science with emphasis on medical dietary needs. Sarah scrolled down. But here's where it gets real. I've contacted 3 restaurant owners in LA who have agreed to let you work in their kitchens, not as hired staff, as an apprentice. You'll rotate through different types of operations, fast casual, fine dining, health-focused concepts. They'll let me do that, Marina asked. When I told them what you're trying to build, they all wanted to help, Sarah said warmly. The restaurant community is more supportive than people think. Plus, Mr. Musk may have made a few calls. She pulled up another document. This is your 6-month plan. Month 1, online coursework and financial stabilization. Month 2, add hands-on kitchen rotations. Month 3, business planning and concept development. Month 4, market research and brand building. Month 5, location scouting and funding preparation. Month 6, final business plan and investor pitch. Marina's head spun. That's so much. It is, Sarah agreed. But you can do it, and you won't be alone. I'll be checking in weekly. You'll have mentors at each restaurant, and if you get overwhelmed, you tell me and we adjust. By 2 p.m., when the meetings finally wrapped up, Marina felt like she'd lived an entire year in one day. Elon gathered everyone back in conference room Falcon. So, he said to Marina, are you in? Marina looked at Jennifer, who'd given her financial hope for the first time in years. At Dr. Hassan, who was going to help her son live a healthier life. At Sarah, who designed a pathway to her dream. At Yuki, her best friend who'd been there through everything. At Dmitry, who looked at her like she was a superhero. And at Elon Musk, who'd taken her desperate request for a raise and turned it into an opportunity for transformation. I'm in, Marina said. Her voice was steady now. Strong. I'm all in. Elon extended his hand. Then let's build something. They shook hands. Marina's journey was just beginning. 4 days later, Thursday, March 21st, 2019, Marina sat in a coffee shop in Manhattan Beach with Jennifer Kim. They'd spent the past hour on the phone with Marina's landlord, Mr. Patterson. Jennifer had been masterful, polite but firm, understanding but clear about alternatives. So we're agreed, Jennifer said into her phone on speaker. Rent reduced to $1,900 per month for the remainder of the current lease and a new 2-year lease at that rate. We'll send the paperwork over today. Mr. Patterson's voice came through. Agreed, Marina, I'm glad we could work this out. You're a good tenant. When the call ended, Marina put her head in her hands. I can't believe that worked. Landlords would rather keep good tenants at slightly lower rent than risk vacancies, Jennifer explained. It's just math. Now, let's talk about building your financial foundation. She pulled out a folder with Marina's new budget, neatly organized. With your salary increase, your monthly income is $2,940 after taxes. Rent is now $1,900. That leaves $1,040 for everything else. Here's how we're allocating it. Marina listened as Jennifer broke down every dollar. Groceries, $300 utilities, $150 car expenses, $200 Dimitri's reduced medical costs, $120 debt repayment, $180 emergency savings, $90. You're not going to get rich on this budget, Jennifer said honestly, but you're going to be stable, and stability is the foundation everything else is built on. Over the next 2 weeks, Marina's life transformed in ways she couldn't have imagined. Jennifer helped her apply for pharmaceutical assistance programs. Within 10 days, Dimitri's insulin costs dropped from $892 to $75 per month. Dr. Hassan got Dimitri set up with the Dexcom G6 and tandem pump. The first night with the new technology, Marina slept through the night for the first time in 3 years. The pump managed Dimitri's insulin automatically, and the monitor sent alerts to her phone if anything went wrong. She started her online courses. Cornell's food and beverage management certificate was challenging but fascinating. She studied late at night after Dimitri went to bed, taking notes, completing assignments, learning the business side of restaurants she'd never seen as a chef. And then, in early April, Sarah arranged her first kitchen rotation. Republique Restaurant in Los Angeles was nothing like any kitchen Marina had worked in before. She arrived at 6 a.m. on Monday, April 8, 2019, wearing the chef's white Sarah had helped her purchase. Her hands were shaking again, but this time from excitement, not fear. The restaurant occupied a gorgeous historic building on La Brea Avenue. Even this early, the kitchen was alive with energy, prep cooks chopping vegetables, bakers pulling bread from massive ovens, sous chefs organizing mise en place. "You must be Marina." A tall man with graying hair and kind eyes extended his hand. "I'm Walter Mansk. Welcome to Republique." Marina shook his hand. "Thank you so much for letting me." "Elon called me personally," Walter interrupted with a smile. "Told me you're building something special. Said you needed to learn from the best. I don't know about the best, but we run a tight kitchen, and I'm happy to teach you everything I know." He led her through the kitchen, introducing her to the team. "This is Marina. She's going to be rotating through our stations over the next few weeks. Treat her like you'd treat any apprentice, which means work her hard but teach her right." The team nodded, already back to their prep work. This kitchen didn't have time for long introductions. "You'll start on guard manger cold station," Walter explained. "Salads, cold appetizers, some dessert plating. Learn the basics of organization and timing. Then we'll move you through the other stations. Questions?" "Just one," Marina said. "Why are you helping me? You don't know me." Walter paused, his expression turning serious. "My daughter has celiac disease. She's 16 now. I've watched her struggle to eat out her entire life. If you're really building what Elon says you're building, a place where kids like her can feel safe, then I want to help make that happen." Marina felt tears prick her eyes. I promise I am." "Then let's get to work." The first week nearly broke her. Marina had worked in kitchens before. She'd been Elon's personal chef, she'd done catering, she'd cooked professionally, but she'd never worked in a kitchen like this. The pace was relentless. The standards were exacting. The pressure was constant. On guard manger, she learned that every salad had to be perfect. Not good, perfect. Every leaf of lettuce had to be the right size. Every vinaigrette had to be emulsified exactly. Every plate had to be a work of art that could be executed in under 2 minutes. Again, the station chef told her when Marina's third attempt at plating a beet salad wasn't quite right. "The goat cheese needs to be canal-shaped, not just scooped." Again. Marina did it again, and again, and again. Her hands blistered from the repetitive motions. Her feet ached from standing on the hard kitchen floor for 12-hour shifts. She came home exhausted every night, barely able to kiss Dimitri goodnight before collapsing into bed. But she was learning. She learned how a professional kitchen operates like a military unit, every person knowing their role, every movement efficient, every moment counted. She learned how to keep mise en place organized during a brutal dinner rush. She learned how to plate 50 salads in 30 minutes without sacrificing quality. After 2 weeks on guard manger, Walter moved her to the hot line. "This is where you learn to cook under pressure," he explained. "You'll be working sauté station tonight. We have 180 reservations. Your job is to execute every order perfectly, quickly, and without falling behind." The dinner service that night was baptism by fire. Orders came in rapid succession, shouted by the expediter. Ordering 2 duck breast, 1 steak frite, 3 salmon. Marina's hands flew, heating pans, searing proteins, plating, wiping rims, sending plates to the pass. "Salmon's overcooked," Walter called out, examining her plate. "Temp it next time. 86 that plate, do it again." Marina's heart sank, but she nodded and started over. In a kitchen like this, there was no time for feelings, only execution. By the end of the night, she'd served 67 plates. 3 had been sent back, the rest passed inspection. "You did okay," Walter told her as they cleaned down the station. Coming from him, okay felt like high praise. "You've got good instincts, but you need to work on your timing. You're thinking too much instead of trusting your hands." "How do I learn that?" Marina asked. "Repetition, you'll get there." In May, Sarah moved Marina to her second rotation, True Food Kitchen, a health-conscious restaurant chain with a location in Pasadena. Here, Marina learned something completely different: how to manage dietary restrictions at scale. The general manager, Lisa Chen, walked Marina through their systems. "Every server is trained in our allergen protocols. Every dish has detailed ingredient information in our POS system. We have completely separate prep areas for gluten-free items. Watch." Lisa showed Marina their kitchen setup: color-coded cutting boards, dedicated equipment for allergen-free prep, detailed labeling systems, staff trained to take dietary restrictions seriously. "We serve about 800 guests a day," Lisa explained. "Maybe 200 of them have serious dietary restrictions: allergies, celiac, diabetes, autoimmune conditions. We can't afford to make mistakes." Marina spent 3 weeks at True Food Kitchen, learning their systems inside and out. She studied their training manuals. She shadowed servers taking orders from guests with complex dietary needs. She worked in the kitchen, seeing how they maintained safety protocols during a busy lunch rush. "This is what the safe table needs to be," Sarah told Marina during one of their weekly check-ins. "But even more rigorous. True Food accommodates dietary restrictions. You're going to specialize in them." At night, Marina continued her online courses. She completed the Cornell certificate in late May. She passed her ServSafe Manager exam with a 98. She took courses in nutrition science, learning the biochemistry behind different medical conditions. She also started designing the safe table in earnest. Late at night, after Dimitri was asleep, Marina sat at her small kitchen table sketching layouts. She researched commercial kitchen equipment designed for allergen-free environments. She designed menus in her notebook, beautiful dishes that happened to be safe, carb-counted pasta dishes for diabetics, gluten-free pizzas for celiac patients, nut-free desserts for severe allergy sufferers. Every dish marked with complete nutritional information: calories, carbs, protein, fat, fiber, sodium, sugar. She researched suppliers who could provide detailed ingredient documentation. She designed staff training protocols that went beyond food allergies to actual medical literacy. Yuki helped, using her nursing background to review Marina's medical protocols. "This is actually brilliant," Yuki said one evening, looking over Marina's training manual draft. "You're teaching kitchen staff to think like healthcare workers. Documentation, precision, sterile technique. This is hospital-grade food safety." "It has to be," Marina said. "Parents need to trust us with their children's lives, literally." In June, Marina started her third rotation, this time at a small, high-end restaurant in Santa Monica that specialized in tasting menus. Here she learned something else crucial: how to create an experience, not just a meal. The chef, Michael Cimarusti, showed her how every element mattered. "People don't just come for food," he explained. "They come for an experience. The ambience, the service, the way each dish is presented, it all tells a story." Marina watched how Michael's team created moments of delight: a surprise amuse-bouche, a server explaining the story behind a dish, The way plates were presented like artwork. The safe table can't just be safe, Marina realized. It has to be beautiful. It has to be an experience families want to have, not just tolerate because they have no choice. She started redesigning her concept. The safe table wouldn't be clinical or institutional. It would be warm, welcoming, beautiful. A place where medical necessity met culinary artistry. Through all of this, Jennifer continued Marina's financial education. They met every 2 weeks. "Let's talk about restaurant financing," Jennifer said in mid-June. She pulled out spreadsheets. "Starting a restaurant requires significant capital. Let's break down the costs." They went through everything: lease deposits, kitchen equipment, furniture, initial inventory, licenses and permits, insurance, staff payroll for the first 3 months, marketing, working capital reserves. "You're looking at roughly $850,000 to open the safe table properly," Jennifer said. "That's a lot of money. Let's talk about where it comes from." She explained investor equity, small business loans, lines of credit, crowdfunding. "You'll need a solid business plan, financial projections, market analysis, proof of concept." "How do I do all that?" Marina asked. "We're going to build it together," Jennifer said, "one piece at a time." By August, Marina had worked in 5 different restaurants. She'd learned high-volume, fast-casual operations, fine dining service, health-conscious concepts, small neighborhood bistros. Each taught her something different. Her online education was complete: certificates in food service management, nutrition science, restaurant operations, small business finance. Her notebooks were filled with ideas, sketches, protocols, recipes. Dr. Hassan reported that Dimitri's A1C had dropped from 8.2 to 7.3. "The new technology is working beautifully," he told Marina. "But more than that, Dimitri seems happier, more confident. I think seeing you chase your dream is giving him permission to believe in his own." Marina hadn't thought about it that way, but Dr. Hassan was right. Dimitri was different. He talked about what he wanted to be when he grew up: an engineer, maybe working on space technology. He talked about the future with hope instead of limitation. In early September, Sarah scheduled the meeting Marina had been building toward for 6 months. "It's time," Sarah said over the phone. "Time to pitch the safe table, for real this time." Marina's hands started shaking again, but not from fear, from readiness. 6 months ago, she'd been a desperate single mother asking for a raise just to survive. Now she was something different. She was an entrepreneur with training, knowledge, experience, and a plan. She was ready to build the safe table, but first she had to convince Elon Musk to invest. September 16, 2019, 9:00 a.m. Marina stood outside the same conference room where this journey began. Conference Room Falcon, 3rd floor, SpaceX headquarters. 6 months had passed since the day she asked for a raise. 6 months that had transformed her life completely. She wore a navy business suit that Jennifer had helped her pick out. She carried a leather portfolio with her business plan, 60 pages of market research, financial projections, operational protocols, and vision. She'd rehearsed her pitch 100 times. Practiced with Sarah, refined with Jennifer, gotten feedback from every mentor who'd helped her along the way. This was it, the moment everything had been building toward. Marina took a deep breath and opened the door. The same 4 people sat around the conference table, Elon at the head, Jennifer Kim to his right, Dr. Hassan beside her, Sarah Mitchell with her tablet ready. But this time, Marina wasn't the terrified woman who'd stumbled in 6 months ago. This time she walked in with her shoulders back, her head high. "Good morning," she said clearly. "Morning, Marina," Elon replied. "Ready to show us what you've built?" "I am." She set down her portfolio and pulled out her laptop. Sarah helped her connect to the screen on the wall. Marina's presentation appeared professional, polished, complete. "The safe table," Marina began, her voice steady. "A fast casual restaurant concept specifically designed for families managing medical dietary restrictions." She clicked to the next slide, market data. In the United States, there are approximately 40 million people with dietary restrictions severe enough to impact their dining choices. This includes 32 million adults and children with food allergies, 16 million children with type 1 diabetes, 3 million people with celiac disease, and millions more managing other autoimmune or metabolic conditions. She let that number sink in. These families spend, on average, 40% less money dining out than the general population, not because they don't want to, but because they can't safely. That represents a $28 billion underserved market. Elon leaned forward slightly, listening. Current restaurants handle dietary restrictions in one of two ways, Marina continued. They either refuse to accommodate them, or they treat them as a burden: special orders, limited options, cross-contamination risks, staff who don't understand the medical implications. She clicked to photos of beautiful plated dishes. The safe table makes medical dietary needs our foundation, not our exception. Every dish is designed with complete nutritional transparency. Every ingredient is tracked and documented. Our kitchen uses medical-grade cross-contamination protocols. Our staff receives training that goes beyond food allergies to actual medical literacy. Next slide, the menu mock-up. Gorgeous food photography showing colorful, appealing dishes. Pan-seared salmon with roasted vegetables, exact carb count, 23 grams. Gluten-free pasta primavera, prepared in dedicated equipment, certified celiac safe. Nut-free chocolate cake, made in a completely nut-free facility, safe for severe allergies. She showed the digital interface she designed with Sarah's help. Each table has a tablet. Families input their specific dietary requirements: diabetes, celiac, allergies, whatever they're managing. The system automatically filters the menu to show only safe options. When they order, the kitchen receives complete medical information for that meal. Dr. Hassan nodded approvingly. That's excellent, better than most hospital food service systems. Marina clicked to the kitchen design. The kitchen is divided into color-coded zones. Red zone, gluten-free preparation. Blue zone, allergen-free. Green zone, general preparation with full documentation. Staff cannot cross zones without changing gloves and sanitizing. Every ingredient is labeled with nutritional information and allergen data. She showed staff training protocols. Every employee, from servers to line cooks to managers, completes 40 hours of medical dietary training before they start. They learn about diabetes management, celiac disease, food allergies, cross-contamination prevention. They learn to read continuous glucose monitors. They learn when to call 911. Jennifer was taking notes, smiling. Our target location is West Los Angeles, 2 blocks from Cedars-Sinai Medical Center and 3 miles from UCLA Medical Center. Both hospitals have large pediatric departments. Both have families managing these exact conditions. Marina clicked to financial projections. Initial investment needed: $850,000. This covers lease deposit, kitchen equipment with specialized allergen-free systems, furniture, initial inventory, licenses, insurance, 6 months working capital and marketing. She showed the detailed breakdown Jennifer had helped her create. Year 1 projected revenue, $12 million, based on serving 280 customers daily at an average ticket of $15 per person. This is conservative. True Food Kitchen in Pasadena serves 800 daily. Year 1 expenses, $105 million, including rent, payroll, food costs, utilities, insurance, and marketing. First year net profit, $150,000. Break-even timeline, 18 months. Positive cash flow by month 20. Elon studied the numbers carefully. What's your customer acquisition cost? Marina had prepared for this question. Initially high, estimated $45 per customer through targeted digital marketing to parent groups, medical communities, and health-focused social media. But customer retention is projected at 70% because our market is so underserved. Once families find us and trust us, they become regulars. Competition? Elon asked. Limited. True Food Kitchen is the closest comparable, but they're broad health-conscious dining. We're specialized medical dietary management. Our real competition is families cooking at home because restaurants aren't safe. We're not taking market share from other restaurants. We're creating new market participation. Sarah was beaming. This was exactly what they'd practiced. Marina clicked to the mission statement. But the safe table isn't just about profit, she said, her voice growing more passionate. It's about dignity. It's about letting families with medical challenges participate in normal life. It's about making kids feel included instead of excluded. She showed photos, pictures from support groups she'd visited over the past 6 months. Children with diabetes, kids with celiac disease, families managing severe allergies. These families don't have options. They don't get to casually decide where to eat dinner. They can't take their kids to birthday parties at restaurants without anxiety. They can't go on dates without fear. They're isolated by their medical conditions. Her voice was strong now, filled with conviction. The safe table changes that. We're not just serving food, we're giving families their lives back. She clicked to the final slide, her timeline for opening. With funding secured by October, I can sign a lease and begin build-out in November. Staff hiring and training in January. Soft opening in February 2020. Grand opening in March 2020. Marina closed her laptop and looked at the 4 people who'd made this possible. 6 months ago, I asked for a raise because I was drowning. Today, I'm asking for investment because I'm ready to build something that matters. Not just to me and Dimitri, but to millions of families like ours. She sat down. The room was silent for a long moment. Jennifer spoke first. 6 months ago, Marina couldn't read a profit and loss statement. Today, she just delivered a financial presentation that would impress any venture capital firm. Her personal finances are stable, no debt besides the consolidation loan, which she's paying down ahead of schedule. She's proven she can manage money responsibly. Dr. Hassan added, Dimitri's A1C is now 7-1, excellent control. But more than that, I've watched Marina balance intensive training, online education, and single parenthood without compromising her son's health or well-being. That demonstrates the discipline and prioritization skills required to run a successful business. Sarah smiled. Marina has worked in 5 professional kitchens over the past 6 months. She's completed 2 business certificates and multiple certifications. She's networked with restaurant owners, suppliers, and contractors. She's built relationships in the medical community. She's put in the work. The concept is solid, the market research is thorough, and the execution plan is realistic. Elon had been silent throughout all of this, his eyes on Marina. There's something I haven't told you, he said finally. Marina's stomach tightened. Here it comes, she thought, the rejection, the but. The morning you asked for a raise, March 14th, I had a scheduled call with my brother Kimball at 8 a.m. We talk every Thursday morning. Marina nodded slowly, unsure where this was going. That morning, Kimball told me about a new restaurant concept he'd been developing with the Kitchen Restaurant Group, a restaurant focused on dietary restrictions and health conditions. He'd been working on it for months, hiring consultants, doing research. Elon pulled up something on his phone. He said the biggest challenge was finding someone who understood both professional cooking and what it's really like to live with medical dietary restrictions every single day. He said, and I quote, "Unless we find a chef who actually lives this reality, who knows what it feels like to worry about their child's blood sugar at 2 a.m., it'll just be another health food concept that doesn't actually work." Marina's heart started beating faster. 2 hours after that call, Elon continued, you walked into my kitchen and asked for a raise because your son has type 1 diabetes and you can't afford his medical care. He looked directly at her. I didn't say anything for 3 days because I was thinking, really thinking. I called Kimball back. I talked to people at Tesla and SpaceX who have kids with dietary restrictions. I researched the market, and I realized something. Elon leaned forward. You didn't just ask for a raise that morning, Marina. You gave me the answer to a problem I didn't even know I was looking for. Marina couldn't breathe. But I couldn't just hand you a concept and money, Elon continued. You weren't ready. You had talent and vision, but not the business knowledge, financial discipline, or operational experience. If I'd invested in March, you would have failed, and failure would have destroyed you. He stood and walked to the window. So I built a test, not to see if you were worthy. I already knew you had potential, but to see if you had what it takes to build something, sustain something, lead something. He turned back to face her. Marina, you didn't just pass that test. You exceeded every single expectation I had. Tears filled Marina's eyes. The safe table is going to work, Elon said firmly. Not because I'm investing, not because you have good advisors, but because you understand something that can't be taught, what it means to fight for your child's life every single day and still have the courage to dream bigger. He returned to his seat and pulled out a document. I want to be your primary investor. I'll put in $600,000 for a 30% equity stake. You keep 70%, it's your vision, your restaurant, your leadership. You'll need to raise the additional $250,000 from other investors or loans, which will teach you fundraising skills you'll need for expansion. He slid a term sheet across the table. Conditions: you'll have a board of advisors, Jennifer, Sarah, Dr. Hassan, Kimball, and one seat you'll fill with someone from the medical community. Quarterly reporting. You maintain the medical and safety standards you've outlined. You stay true to the mission. Marina's hands shook as she picked up the term sheet. And one more thing, Elon said. You're going to hire Yuki. What? Marina whispered. Your friend Yuki, the pediatric nurse. The safe table needs a director of health and safety, someone with actual medical training who can develop protocols, train staff, ensure everything is medically sound. Offer her $85,000 a year plus equity. She'll be essential to making this work. Marina couldn't speak, couldn't process. Do we have a deal? Elon asked, extending his hand. Marina stood on shaking legs. She looked at the term sheet, at the people around the table who'd invested 6 months in her transformation, at Elon Musk who'd seen potential in a desperate request for help. We have a deal, she said. They shook hands, but Elon didn't let go right away. One more thing, he said quietly, and this is important. Elon gestured for Marina to sit back down. Everyone else remained seated, watching. I need you to understand something, Elon said, his voice different now, softer, more personal. Everything I just told you about Kimball's call and the timing, that's all true, but it's not the complete truth. Marina's heart hammered in her chest. What was he about to say? Elon pulled out his phone and scrolled to something. After you left the kitchen that morning, after you asked for a raise and I said I'd think about it, I didn't go to my office. I sat in that kitchen for 20 minutes, alone, just thinking. He showed Marina his phone screen. It was a photo of a baby, a tiny infant with Elon's eyes. That's Nevada, Elon said quietly. My first son. He died at 10 weeks old. SIDS. It was 2002. It's been 17 years, but I remember every detail of that day like it was yesterday. The room was absolutely silent. When you lose a child, Elon continued, his voice thick with emotion, it breaks something fundamental inside you. You realize how fragile everything is, how quickly the most important thing in your life can be taken away. He put his phone away. After Nevada died, I threw myself into work, SpaceX, Tesla, 18-hour days, 20-hour days. I told myself I was building the future, changing humanity's trajectory. And I was, but I was also running from the pain. Marina's eyes filled with tears. I have 5 other sons now, Elon said. Griffin, Xavier, Kai, Saxon, and Damien. An XAEAXI, we call him X. He was born last year. I love them more than anything. But I'm not always there for them the way I should be. I'm building rockets, managing production crises, trying to accelerate sustainable energy. He looked directly at Marina. When you stood in my kitchen and told me about Dimitri's diabetes, about the insulin you can't afford, about watching your son struggle, I saw something in your eyes that I recognized. That fear, that desperation, that willingness to do absolutely anything to keep your child alive and healthy. His voice cracked slightly, and I realized something. You weren't just asking for money. You were asking for the chance to be the parent you want to be, to provide for your son, to build a life where he doesn't have to suffer because you're financially trapped. Elon stood and walked to the window again, looking out at the SpaceX facility. I can't bring Nevada back. I can't undo that loss. But I can help parents like you, parents who are fighting every day to keep their children healthy and safe. That's not charity, Marina. That's meaning. That's purpose beyond rockets and electric cars. He turned back to face the room. But here's the part I haven't told you, the part that's important for you to understand. Marina held her breath. I didn't just see your potential that morning, Elon said. I saw your pain, your struggle, and I knew I could help. But I also knew that just giving you money would be the wrong kind of help. It would make you dependent. It wouldn't change the fundamental trajectory of your life. He sat back down. So yes, I built a test. Yes, I created this 6-month program to prepare you for the safe table. But it wasn't just about the restaurant, Marina. It was about you. What do you mean? Marina whispered. I wanted to see if you could transform, Elon said simply. Not just learn new skills, but actually become a different person. Someone who doesn't see herself as a victim of circumstances, but as someone capable of building solutions. He gestured to Jennifer, Dr. Hassan, and Sarah. These 3 people didn't just teach you about finance, healthcare, and business. They taught you that you're capable of more than you believed, that your dreams aren't foolish, that asking for help isn't weakness, it's the first step towards strength. Jennifer nodded, smiling gently. 6 months ago, Elon continued, you walked into my kitchen with your head down, apologizing for existing, asking for a small raise just to survive another month. Today, you walked into this conference room with your shoulders back, delivering a professional investor pitch for a business that could help millions of families. He leaned forward. That transformation, that's what I was investing in, not just the safe table, you. Marina couldn't hold back the tears anymore. They streamed down her face. But I need you to understand something else, Elon said, his voice intense now. This wasn't about me being a billionaire saving a poor chef. This was never that story. He pulled the business plan toward him. You did this. You worked 12-hour days in professional kitchens. You studied every night after putting Dimitri to bed. You pushed through exhaustion and doubt and fear. You built this plan. You developed these protocols. You created this vision. Sarah spoke up. I've worked with dozens of entrepreneurs. Most of them quit when things get hard. Marina never quit. Not once. Even when she was overwhelmed, even when she wanted to give up, she kept going. Dr. Hassan added, and she did it while being an excellent mother. Dimitri never suffered because Marina was pursuing her dream. If anything, he thrived because he saw his mother believing in herself. Jennifer said, Marina went from financial chaos to financial stability in 6 months. She learned discipline, planning, delayed gratification. Those aren't skills I can teach. They're choices she made every single day. Elon nodded. That's what I'm investing in. Your work ethic, your resilience, your vision, your heart. He pulled out another document. Now, I need to tell you about the people who are here who you haven't met yet. What people? Marina asked, confused. Elon stood and walked to the conference room door. He opened it. Standing in the hallway was a crowd of people. 20, maybe 30 people. Parents holding children, a man in a wheelchair, a woman with a teenage daughter wearing a medical alert bracelet, a young couple with a toddler who had a feeding tube, and in the front holding Yuki's hand was Dimitri. Mom! Dimitri rushed into the room and hugged her. Marina held her son, completely overwhelmed. Elon gestured to the families in the hallway. These are people we found during our market research. Families managing type 1 diabetes, celiac disease, severe allergies, other conditions. They all heard about the safe table, and they wanted to meet you. One by one, the families began entering the conference room. A mother with tears in her eyes approached Marina. She held the hand of a boy about 7 years old. My son has celiac disease. We haven't eaten at a restaurant as a family in 3 years. When I heard about what you're building, her voice broke. Please make this real, please. Another woman stepped forward, her teenage daughter beside her. My daughter is 14. She has type 1 diabetes. She's never been to a friend's birthday party at a restaurant, never been on a date where food was involved. She feels isolated from normal teenage life because of something she can't control. The daughter spoke, her voice quiet but determined. I just want to feel normal, just once. I want to go somewhere and not be afraid. A father with a young son who had severe nut allergies said, we carry EpiPens everywhere. We've had 3 emergency room visits in the past 2 years. We live in constant fear. If there was a place where we could eat safely, where my son could just be a kid, he couldn't finish. One by one, families shared their stories, their struggles, their fears, their desperate hope that the safe table could give them what they couldn't find anywhere else: normalcy, safety, inclusion. Marina listened to each story, tears streaming down her face. These weren't abstract market demographics. These were real people with real pain, families just like hers who'd been excluded and isolated by circumstances beyond their control. A woman in her 30s approached. "I'm Rebecca Chen. I'm a pediatric dietitian at Cedars-Sinai. I work with families managing medical dietary needs every single day. When Mr. Musk's team contacted me about the safe table, I immediately wanted to help." She handed Marina a business card. "I'd like to be on your medical advisory board, pro bono. This is too important not to support." Marina took the card with shaking hands. An older man stepped forward. "I'm David Martinez. I own 3 restaurants in Los Angeles. When I heard about your concept, I wanted to meet you. I'd like to invest $50,000 for a small equity stake, not because I think I'll get rich, because I think this needs to exist." Marina couldn't speak. Another woman said, "I'm Jennifer Park. My daughter has severe dairy and egg allergies. I'm a lawyer. I'd like to help with your legal setup, LLC formation, contracts, insurance. Consider it my contribution." Person after person offered support, expertise, resources, investment. Elon watched all of this with a slight smile. Finally, when the families had shared their stories and offers of support, he spoke. "Marina, this is why the safe table will succeed. Not because I'm investing $600,000, not because you have good advisors, but because there's a community of people desperate for what you're building. You're not creating a business, you're solving a real problem for real people." He gestured to everyone in the room. "These families are your customers, your advocates, your proof of concept. Some of them want to invest, some want to help, some just want to know it's really happening." Marina looked around the room at all these faces, parents and children who looked like her and Dmitry, people who understood the fear and isolation she'd lived with for 3 years. "It's really happening," Marina said, her voice stronger now. "I promise you, the safe table is real. We're opening in March 2020, and you're all invited to the soft opening." The room erupted in applause. Dmitry hugged his mother tighter. "Mom, you're going to help so many people." Yuki came over, tears in her eyes. "Did Elon really just say you want to hire me?" "As Director of Health and Safety," Marina said, laughing and crying at the same time. "$85,000 a year plus equity. I can't do this without you." Yuki hugged her best friend. "Then I'm in, I'm absolutely in." Elon pulled Marina aside for a moment, away from the crowd. "Do you understand now?" he asked quietly. "Why I did it this way? Why I made you wait 6 months? Why I made you work so hard?" Marina nodded, unable to speak. "Because if I'd just given you money in March, you wouldn't have believed you could do this. You would have doubted yourself. You would have thought you were lucky, not capable. But now..." He gestured to the room full of people. "Now you know the truth. You built this. You earned this. You transformed yourself from someone asking for a raise to someone building a company that will change lives. That's not luck, Marina, that's you." Marina wiped her eyes. "Thank you for everything, for seeing something in me I couldn't see in myself." "Thank you," Elon replied, "for reminding me why the work matters. It's not about rockets or cars or technology. It's about helping people live better lives. You reminded me of that." He smiled, a genuine, warm smile. "Now go build the safe table, make it real. Change lives. And when it's successful, and it will be, remember this moment. Remember that you were capable of this all along. You just needed someone to believe in you until you could believe in yourself." Marina looked around the conference room. At Jennifer, who taught her financial literacy. At Dr. Hassan, who'd given Dmitry better health care than she'd ever dreamed possible. At Sarah, who designed her transformation. At Yuki, her best friend who'd been there through everything. At Dmitry, her son, her reason for fighting. And at the families in the room, her future customers, her community, her purpose. 6 months ago, she'd asked for a raise because she was drowning. Today, she was building a life raft for thousands of families drowning just like she had been. That's what Elon had given her. Not money, not charity, but the opportunity to transform pain into purpose, struggle into strength, desperation into determination, and the belief, the unwavering belief that she was capable of extraordinary things. The safe table wasn't just a restaurant. It was proof that sometimes when you ask for help, you don't get what you asked for. You get something infinitely better. You get the chance to become who you were always meant to be. And that was the end of Marina's incredible story. A single mother who asked for a raise and received something far more valuable, the opportunity to transform her life and help thousands of families just like hers. Where are you listening from? Drop your location in the comments below. We love hearing from our community around the world. If this story touched your heart or inspired you in any way, please hit that like button. It helps us reach more people who need to hear stories of hope and transformation. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more incredible, emotionally engaging stories that remind us of the power of kindness, resilience, and believing in ourselves. Finally, share this video with your friends and family. Spread the kindness. Spread the awareness. You never know who might need to hear that asking for help isn't weakness. It's the first step towards something extraordinary. Thank you for listening. Until next time, remember, you're capable of far more than you know. Sometimes you just need someone to believe in you until you can believe in yourself.